Hey, I'm Josh Hamlin. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Quickie AtlAtl. What is an AtlAtl? An AtlAtl is a spear thrower. It predates the bow and arrow. It was so effective that the bow and arrow wasn't necessary. It made the mammoths go extinct, for one thing. It was AtlAtls that killed them off. We hunted with it for most of human history, and only in the last 5,000 or 6,000 years did we come up with bow and arrows. Basically, what an AtlAtl is a spear thrower. It throws a dart. They call it a dart. It's more like a long arrow than a spear. It's not like a javelin. Javelins are thick, and it's not like a plunging in spear that you hang on to. It's more like an arrow. It's fletched. It's got a head on it or something like that. So we're gonna make a dart, but this isn't a video on making darts. This is a video on making AtlAtls. So I'll do a better video. Right now we're gonna make a Quickie dart. I'll do a better video on dart making later. So we're just gonna whip one together real quick. I cut this. This is a bush honeysuckle right here. This is a branch from bush honeysuckle. Luckily, bush honeysuckle a lot of times gets big giant clumps, and right up in the center they grow a big straight stalk like this. I actually cut this a few months ago though, so it's already dried. But bush honeysuckle is a good one to remember for arrows. Look here. I cut this last year also for arrows. Just taped them up in a bundle to try and keep them a little bit straight. Bush honeysuckle is really good for that. So our first step is to make us a Quickie dart, and we'll be back in a few seconds to show you how to do that. Okay, to make a dart, we need some things. Generally, a dart consists of an arrowhead, which I made a few minutes ago just for this purpose. They're not anything fancy, I just knocked them out real quick just for this demo. Generally, AtlAtls, they have a foreshaft in them that sticks out at the front with the arrowhead attached to it. That way, when the dart shoots into the animal, the arrow falls off, the dart falls off, but the foreshaft stays in the animal, causing it to bleed and die quicker. Generally, it has a fletching, feather fletching on the back of it too. This is a Quickie dart, so we're going to do all this stuff really quickly. We'll make us a foreshaft out of this. It's really simple. By the way, the better your dart, just like with a bow and arrow, the better your arrow, the better your accuracy, not the better your bow. Same with this, the better your dart, the better your accuracy, not the better your AtlAtl. Because AtlAtls are pretty quick. And I'm not, like I said, this is not a video on dart making, but we are going to make one real quick. There's a reason why we're making the dart first. Because you can use a dart without an AtlAtl if the opportunity presents itself. So, if you have a dart and you haven't made your AtlAtl yet, and an animal is stupid enough, say a porcupine walks by, you can stab it with a spear without the AtlAtl. So I make that first, just for something like that, just so I have a weapon. Let me show you these cuts here. This is the same way that you cut for arrows. I cut a notch in this side, a notch in this side. Now I'm going to come up here, cut a notch in here, and then flip it over and cut a notch in here. I'll show you why I'm doing this in a second. Okay, let's see how that is. Now what we're going to do is come in here with the knife and pry down to there. Come in here with the knife, pry down to there. Now I'm going to grab this and carefully break this part out. And this is how we make our notch for our arrowhead, like so. I need to whittle it up and clean it up though. Get some of this excess out of here. And clean this whole thing up. Notice on this foreshaft that one end of it is pointed. This pointed end is going to go into the end of our dart. Notice also that our dart is hollow wood. You can make a dart out of pretty much any kind of straight wood, but if it's not hollow or have a pit, then you have to carve it out for this purpose. This is going to go in here. I'll still have to carve this out because it's a pretty small hole, which I'll do that right now. Now this will split for sure when you have your dart in there and it hits something. It'll split this definitely every time, so we have to prevent that. It's already splitting right now and we haven't even done it, haven't even thrown it yet. Doesn't matter though, I mean it's splitting it right now, ain't hurting it. But we're gonna have to tie this. We're gonna have to wrap this tightly with some type of cordage to prevent this from splitting the whole thing out. So we'll do that in a few minutes. Right now let's finish getting our floor shaft ready. Do I have any cordage on me? I do. Okay. This is paracord, but I don't want to use a big thick string like this. So I'm just going to break it down and get some of the string out of the inside of it. There we go. Your arrowheads have to be dull in these notches. If not, it will cut the string. This is the same for an arrow as it is for an AtlAtl. It has to be dull in here. So just making sure it is. I'm not great at knots, so don't ask me what knot that is. No idea. Oops. Normally I would put some pine pitch in here to help hold this all in place, but like I said, this is a quickie just for this demo. Okay, I'll cut all this extra off. Okay, there's our pretty shabby foreshaft. Okay. Now, I'll do another video on fletching with feathers at a later time. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to do a shortcut. It's a pretty useful shortcut to know, though. So. I'm going to use tape. Tape for fletching. Take a piece of tape. Like so. Take another piece of tape. Like that. Right. Get it positioned right. A lot of people don't understand what the purpose of fletching is. They think that it makes the arrow fly straight or something like that, and it does have an effect on that. But its main purpose is to slow the back of the arrow or the dart down, so because this is where the pressure is coming from. It's coming from the back and it's pushing forward. So this part is going faster than this part, which causes arrows or darts to flip over in the air. What the fletching does is it slows down the back of this so that the front of this is going faster, so that it doesn't flip over in the air. So this little improvised fletching will do just fine, because it will slow the back of this down so that it doesn't flip over in the air. There's a lot of different kind of trigger mechanisms for AtlAtls. Some of these are rounded, and then there's a groove that fits it in the AtlAtl. More often, though, this is carved out, and it's hollow, just like the other side. It's carved out to fit a notch that is carved into a branch. That's what we're doing this time. I'll show you some of the other cool ways, and one that I came up with myself, I think. At least I've never heard anyone else using it. But I'll show you that some other time. Okay, where's that string at? Get one more piece of string out to tie the end of this, and this dart will be ready to go, and then we'll get on to the AtlAtl. Need one strand of this. Okay. I'm just tying this up for the sole purpose of making sure that it doesn't split, that the dart doesn't sink down into it, instead of sinking down into the animal. With the foreshaft, I mean. tight. Alright, and now we'll put those extra strings off. Put the 4-shaft in there. And there is our completed Quickie AtlAtl dart. I spent a lot of time showing you that, and that's not even what the video's on. But you can't use an AtlAtl if you don't have a dart. And I didn't have one, so I might as well show you. I didn't straighten this by the fire or anything like that. It's pretty straight, not near straight enough though, so this is not hunting ready. Alright, I'm going to set that down, and now we're going to get on with the AtlAtl. Got a saw here. I noticed a good branch over here. Looks like it'll work well. This branch right here. Come here and I'll show you what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a pretty straight section of tree with a branch coming off of it like this. So, this will be the thing that goes into the end of our dart. Basically, an AtlAtl is a catapult. It launches the dart just like a catapult does. It's already dead wood, so it doesn't cut so easy. Okay, this will be our AtlAtl. Well, let's whittle it down some. Ideally, if you can have some flex in the AtlAtl, this is how you throw it. That'll help. This is dead, and I don't think there's going to be any flex in it, but at least we'll clean it up, get rid of any of these lumps. Excuse me, I got a cold. This will be our handle in here. Our trigger. This is going to connect to the AtlAtl right in that little hole there, just like so. Okay. Now this is the piece of string that I just pulled all that other string out of. We'll use it. The purpose of this string is going to be so that when we throw the dart, we don't throw the AtlAtl with it. Make a loop for our thumb. There's a million different ways to do this. You can make a loop for both your fingers, for one of your fingers, for your thumb, for your wrist. Just something to stop the AtlAtl from flying away with your dart. that little lump's going to be a problem because every time I throw it, it's going to stab me in the hand. So I've got to get rid of that too. Okay. Sorry, my battery died, and it's going to die again, so we got to be quick. Only thing I've done since I've seen you last is put this thumb loop on here, so I can hold it like this, so when I throw it, it doesn't fly out of my hand. And I changed the tip. I put a practice dart on there. So now I'm going to show you how it works. You take the tip of your AtlAtl here, stick it in the back of your dart, hold it like this, and then throw. That's all there is to it. You get a lot of power that way. Thanks for watching.